More than enough to let the light in. The way you're making me feel, it's divine. It's enough to let it flow, let it be. 'Cause you're everything that I crave in this life. 'Cause we're everything we can find in another life. Take my hand and my promises, they're yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you. Keep my heart and my honor is yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you for the rest of my life. My life. For the rest of my life. You're in my sight and my mind, in the quiet and up front out loud, in the calm, in my spirit and the storm. 'Cause you're everything that I crave in this life. 'Cause we're everything we can't find in another life. Take my hand and my promises, they're yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you. Keep my heart and my honor is yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. For the rest of my life.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Welcome to Talking Point and welcome to the locker room. Push the wrong button. Sorry. I'm Nan. Okay, so I have a major migraine. It starts right here at my jaws and it feels like the whole top and back of my head's going to explode. It hurts. So I just took some ibuprofen. Hopefully it'll help. And I got me a soda. I had coffee this morning. For the first time, I stopped at Dutch Brothers Coffee and got me a caramelicious mocha. And it was amazing. Amazing. But, okay. So we have the incense burning and we have our talking point. I found out today that I was called, actually yesterday I was called. And I'm going tomorrow to look at 5 storage lockers to possibly bid on. Probably won't bid on them, but I want to look and see what they got. They might have some interesting stuff. And I got to get a hold of my friend Karen, lives over there in that town where the auction is, and it's a silent auction. And I'll pick her up if she wants to go. I'll probably do it later in the afternoon because at 4 o'clock an estate sale starts, and I want to go to that estate sale. So, yeah. So anyway, so let's talk about How will artificial intelligence change the job market in the next decade? And AI is everywhere. A friend of mine that I never would have thought, I mean, she's up to date on all sorts of things. Hello, H. Davis. How are you doing? But a friend of mine, she's pretty up to date, but I never thought she would get into, she did, there's something with Chat GPT that I don't know how it works because I don't know anything. I'm glad you're okay. I'm fighting a major migraine. I mean, like from right here to the whole top of my head and back here, it all feels like it's going to explode. But I just took some ibuprofen and I ate some. I didn't start getting the headache until after I ate, and I ate some clam chowder and uh, a turkey and cheese sandwich. I dipped it in my clam chowder and then drank my clam chowder out of the cup. So, um, but yeah. And normally clam chowder doesn't bother me, but I don't eat it very often. So, because I like it and I don't want to get burned out on it. So, anyway, I have eaten, I took some Tylenol, and after my live, I'm going to take a muscle relaxer for my shoulder. I thought my shoulder was like 90% better. I could do almost anything except for raise my arm ouch, like that. And it just snapped, crackled, and popped all the way up like that. And the only reason I could do that was because I was holding on to it. So anyway, I thought it was better. And I told on Monday when I went to my physical therapy, I told Dr. Jonathan that I thought it was about 90% better. I said it only hurts if I overuse it. And he said, well, that's good. 90% is always good to hear in a therapy office, you know. And I have an actual doctor's appointment on Friday. But this morning, after I took my shower, I reached over to the shelf to get my deodorant. And when I did, I felt that like something was blocking me from being able to open my arm all the way out like that. And it hurt. And then when I got to physical therapy, he has this, I have to hold this band and hold my thumb up in the air like I'm, and then raise my arm up above. See, I can't do it. Yeah, but I'm not 90%. I thought I was, but I'm not. And I'm supposed to raise my arm up like this with the green band, only I couldn't go like this with the green band. And I'm like, I can't do that one. I can't do it. So I did my rotate out ones that I normally do, and I turned around and I did my rotate across that I normally do. And then when I got my weights, I did my arm curls, and then there's one where I have to take the weight and go up and go behind my hand like that 30 times. And I got like 15 of those done. And then I have to take it and go from my leg to my shoulder and then straight up. And I couldn't do 2 of those. I just couldn't. So he put this blue stuff on me. And then he got this heat thing, and he said, I'm going to do a sonogram or ultrasound or whatever, and ultrasonic thing. And he kept going in. It was burning right there. He said, that's arm muscle. That's not rotator cuff. And I'm like, okay. So then he put the tinge in. He had me lay down and he was trying to pop it back. And I was like, oh, every time he pushed, it hurt so bad. And then he got, first off, he told me to lay on the table with my right shoulder off the table. I said, and he grabbed my arm, started pulling it. I said, that's not the hurt arm. I said, it's that one. He started laughing and walked around the table. I slid over. And then he got in behind me and took his knee and was pushing down on my shoulder. And he said, I felt like 4 pops. I only felt 1 and it hurt. I'm going, oh. And he's taking my shoulder and he's pulling it. And I'm like, and then Anyway, so Friday I go back to physical therapy, and then after physical therapy, I have a doctor's appointment in the same office, different doctor. So I'm gonna find out. He says I might have to go have another MRI, see what's going on. So anyway, it's I thought it was 90%, but it's not 90%. So anyway, let's get on to business. We are on Grok. And the question was, how will artificial intelligence change the job market in the next decade? And in 53 seconds of thinking, it said, artificial intelligence, AI, will fundamentally transform the job market over the next decade. Roughly, stop it. My antivirus keeps telling me that my website, which is not StreamYard, but my search engine, is not a safe site. And I've been using my search engine forever. AVG is the only one that says it doesn't work. And that's why my computer had to be reformatted over New Year's when my husband was home, because he thought he could put Chrome on it, and Chrome shut it down. Anyway, AI will fundamentally transform the job market over the next decade, roughly 26 to 36, primarily through automation of routine tasks, augmentation of human capabilities, and the creation of entirely new roles. Most experts and recent reports describe this as a net positive for total employment, but with significant disruption, requiring widespread reskilling and occupational transition. Job displacement versus creation, net positive but disruptive. By 2030, technological change driven largely by AI is expected to displace around 92 million jobs globally, while creating 170 million new ones, for a net gain of about 78 million jobs. AI and information processing technologies will impact 86% of businesses by 2030, accelerating this shift. Globally, nearly 40% of jobs are exposed to AI, higher in advanced economic, lower in emerging and low income ones, meaning they will either be heavily augmented or partially automated. Current AI agents and robots could theoretically automate 57% of the U.S. work hours today, though actual adoption will be gradual and focused on partnership rather than full replacement. From 2030 to 2036, these trends will likely intensify as AI becomes more capable. Now, on that note, I didn't watch the article on YouTube, but apparently there was some kind of a big explosion at an AI plant somewhere, and a lot of the plant was kind of like flattened. So I don't know whether that's going to affect anything at all. Displacement could accelerate in white-collar sectors that were previously insulated, but historical patterns suggest new job categories will continue to emerge faster than expected. Most affected job categories: high risk of automation or major changes, significant reduction in demand by 2030 to 2036. Routine cognitive work, data entry. Now, wait a minute. So we are going to have to become our own data entry persons, because already it's like when I schedule a doctor's appointment or something, I'll get an email and they want me to fill out all this information and send in before I ever see the doctor. So basically, that would be how data entry would be taken over. But data entry can't do everything yet, as far as I know. Basic accounting and bookkeeping. Now, somebody has to put the numbers into the computer because the computer isn't going to know them automatically. Okay. Administrative support, customer service call centers, paralegal research. Now, my daughter works for a call center and she works for a company and they schedule um, services, uh, lawn care, mosquitoes, and things like that. And I don't know how AI can do that because people, what you're going to call a computer and give them all of your information, and the computer is going to say automatically know that such and such date and time is available and automatically schedule you for it, even if you can't do it on that date and time. You're just going to have to reschedule yourself in order to be able to be there because some computer told you somebody was going to be there to take care of this business for you. I don't like that idea. Transportation and manufacturing, trucks, bus, taxi drivers, autonomous vehicles, assembly line workers, entry level analytic roles, junior programmers, financial analysts do repetitive remodeling, low risk, net beneficiaries, growth or heavy augmentation, healthcare and caring roles, nurses, therapists, elder care workers, AI assists diagnostics and admin, but human empathy remains essential. Exactly. Nobody, a computer cannot look at somebody and tell what their physical problem. I don't care. I've seen videos or movies and stuff of AI, and there's one I don't remember what it's called, but this boy is an AI program, and he's got a chip in his neck, and the girl has to take it out and reset it every now and then. And his sole purpose is to make sure she is safe. And he has other abilities that he can do, but he's supposed to just make sure she's safe. And so in the movie, he gets into this, they go into this place, and the computers in the place reset him and remanufacture him. Not remanufacture, but reprogram him. And then all of a sudden, he's not there to care for his sister, which is what they've called him, brother and sister all this time. And then finally, she gets him towards the end, and she resets his computer. She pulls that chip out, and she does something to it and hits the reset button and takes him back. And he goes in, and he wakes up, and he calls her by name, and he said, "Are we going to go eat?" And she knows she's got her brother back. And, but he couldn't tell if she was bleeding. He couldn't tell if she broke her arm. He couldn't fix her broken arm. There's going to have to be jobs where people can do it. So, let's see. Highly creative, strategic roles: artists, executives, scientists, ethicists, and policymakers. I think that's, I don't know. I don't know that word. I can't say it. Fast growing, new or transformed roles. AI related jobs: engineering, prompt engineers, AI ethicists. Wait, it doesn't say. AI partnership between people, agents, and robots. Nearly every occupation will experience skill shifts by 2030. Highly specialized automatable skills such as accounting and coding could face problems. Okay. Demand AI fluency has already grown 7 times in the past 2 years. Data scientists, analysts, cybersecurity experts, sustainability specialists, green jobs, human AI collaboration roles, overseeing agents, verifying outputs, and designing workflows, care economy and education roles driven by aging population. Okay. Skill shifts, what workers need. Now, I was watching something and it said they were talking about I didn't put it in today's program, but they were talking about kids coming out of college are going to have a harder time finding a job because the jobs are being replaced by AI. So I don't know. By 2030, nearly every occupation will see significant skill changes. Most automatable skills, basic coding, data processing, routine analysis, will decline in standalone value while complementary skills explode. So the person that puts the information into the computer so the computer can do their job, that don't make sense. Top skills in demand: AI literacy, tool use, critical thinking to evaluate AI outputs, complex problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence, and lifelong learning adaptability. Now, I don't have that because I have a hard time learning anything. Wage premiums are also appearing for AI related skills, up to 8 to 15% higher pay in advanced economies for roles requiring multiple new skills. Border economic and social impacts. Productivity boom. Midpoint adoption scenarios project trillions of economic values, 2.9 trillion in the US alone by 2030, through human AI partnerships that redesign workflows. Inequality risks. High skilled workers and advanced economies benefit most. Middle skill routine jobs get squeezed or polarization. Women, youth, and lower income countries face higher relative exposure. Emerging markets may see slower job growth in AI vulnerable sectors. Geographic and sectorial variation. Tech hubs, US, China, Europe, will see rapid job creation in AI manufacturing. Heavy or administrative regions will face more displacement. Possible scenarios for 2030 to 2036. Adapt from WEF thinking. Augmentation wins. AI widely complements humans. Broad productivity gains, wage growth, and net job creation, most likely baseline. Automation dominates, fast adoption without enough reskilling, and higher unemployment, inequality, pessimistic but possible if policy lags. Talent constrained growth. AI advances slow due to skill shortages, moderate disruptions but missed economic potential. Inclusive transformation. Strong reskilling and policy support. Equitable gains, new social safety nets for transition. Bottom line for workers and society: the next decade won't be mass unemployment, it will be mass transition. Workers who actively learn to work with AI, prompt engineering today, agent orchestration tomorrow, will thrive. Those in purely routine roles who don't adapt face the highest risk. That would be me. But the only job, I applied for a job today as a paraeducator, which is like a teacher's aide, here in our local schools. So hopefully I'll be able to help my husband out financially that way. Because CJ's going, he's going to be graduating. I won't have anybody to watch after. So I need to find something to occupy my time. The next decade won't be mass unemployment. It will be mass transition. Oh, I already read that. Companies that redesign jobs around human AI teams will win. Countries that invest heavily in adult education, STEM pipelines, and social safety nets, e.g., Finland, Singapore models, will come out ahead. The mirrors past technological revolution, industrial computing, internet, short-term pain, long-term gain. But the speed of AI makes proactive adaptation more urgent than ever. So there we have it. Before long, you'll go to college, and the only thing you'll be able to learn is AI-driven stuff. Unless you're going to be like a surgeon or something like that. Because I don't think there's any way that a computer, it can only be an AI driven operating room. I don't think that could ever be possible. Now I don't know everything. Like they say, I'm a pessimist. Okay. This was from CNBC and it was 7 months ago. So let's give them a thumbs up. Let's give them a raise up and see what CNBC has to say. Now, this is only a 7.5 minute thing. So,
Andy Jassy says artificial intelligence will lead to a reduction of its corporate workforce eventually over the next few years. He wrote in a memo to employees that they should figure out, in his words, how to get more done with scrappier teams. That's nice. Joining us now, former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang. It's a daunting future we have, Mr. Yang, obviously. And you've been, I said, I was at was it a book party that I attended for you?
A book event.
6 years ago, talking about this on the horizon and the need for maybe even back then universal basic income. I guess at this point you're thinking, wow, it's accelerating faster than you even thought.
Yeah, it's here even faster than I'd imagined back in 2019 and 2020. And
now, for somebody whose job is nothing but AI, to say that it's advancing faster than you thought, that's saying something in my book. Now, I could be wrong, which I usually am.
I talk to CEOs who are replacing thousands of customer service workers with AI, entire design departments, even coders are being supplanted. And Becky and I were just talking about how we used to tell our kids, hey, if you major in computer science, you'll be good to go. And now those graduates are having a hard time finding jobs. It's starting to appear in the numbers for recent college graduates and entry-level white-collar work.
If you're a science fiction believer, I was going to ask you whether the whole Luddite chorus that we've heard for 150 years, that it's never actually it's always been better technology long term. Maybe not always, but many times even more jobs are created from the technologies that's being displaced, whether it's internal combustion engines or whatever you want to look at. You would argue this time is different with AI.
My husband and I were having a conversation a few months back. We were talking about Apple versus Android because I have both. I do not like Apple. I stand hard on my Android. But he was like, okay, think about it. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't even have actual cell phones. They had car phones, but they were really expensive. But we didn't have actual cell phones. And when we did get them, you couldn't text on them. You could only call. And then we got texting, and it was on the flip phone. So to hit the S, you had to hit that 7 button 4 times, And, and then you got charged by the word for your text messages and all that stuff. And my husband said cell phones came from Star Trek. And if you think about it, Captain Kirk used to beam me up, Scotty. And then look at the Jetsons. I mean, last year, 2025, was the year of the Jetsons. So we didn't get as far as that was predicted. But, it's weird.
And then it's not, I mean, then if you, like I said, science fiction, not just displacing us from work, but maybe just displacing us altogether 100 years from now.
Yeah, well, we have to take a lot of those science fiction style scenarios very seriously, Joe, in my opinion. And the most common job in 29 states is still being a truck driver. You have robot trucks just now hitting the highways.
They'll be gone.
Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, said, look, we're going to automate away a lot of the entry-level white-collar jobs. And
my husband last year spent 6 weeks with an AI trailer. Okay? He hated it because he had to be at certain places at certain times, and the trailer knew he had to be there at the time, and it was sending reports back, and his trailer kept breaking down and all sorts of stuff. And he said he gave that trailer a bad report. I mean, he was honest. He was honest about it. He said, this is very productive at keeping the temperature levels regulated. It was perfect. It was perfect. But at keeping the vacuum seals in the trailers and whatever it all had to have, it didn't do so well. And the lines underneath it would freeze. Even in October, some kind of fuel line that goes from the back to the front of the trailer would freeze, and it'd lock up as brakes on the trailer and all sorts of stuff. And there was a lot of kinks that needed to be worked out. That's what he said. And I said, would you run another trailer test like that? He said, not if I can get out of it.
And he's right, because I talked to executives at these companies who are doing exactly what Andy Jassy is talking about on Amazon, looking around saying, hey guys, instead of hiring a bunch of 22-year-olds, maybe we should have AI do that work. So I fear for the next generation, because all of the experience that maybe we got in our 20s and 30s, there might not be that kind of ladder available to them.
Look, Andy Jassy said that he wants employees to kind of take advantage and learn how to use AI, learn how to do their jobs better, maybe make things easier. Maybe it takes care of some of the grunt level work you don't like doing, but it allows you to have more space and room to do things creatively. Should we be afraid of that?
Well, what this means in real life, Becky, is you have a department of 6 people, let's say coders or designers, and then you end up eliminating 4 or 5 of them, and then there's one designer coder empowered by AI. So there's going to be a beneficiary in the organization, but you're just not going to need as many people in that department, and that's going to play out over and over again.
Pope had some interesting things, and he's getting involved. Last Pope was big on climate change. This might be important. And he says the worlds of science and politics need to immediately tackle this problem without allowing scientific progress to advance with arrogance, harming those who have to submit to power. And he's going to host a lot of people. But right now it's just breakneck. There's no governors on what's happening whatsoever.
I mean, if you think about the incentives of the individual firm, it's just to go as fast as possible, because there's like a bit of an arms race in terms of compute.
Literally.
And the data and the model. Literally. And then
the day I walk into church and the preacher has been replaced by a computer screen, monitor screen, or whatever that's hanging on from the ceiling, and the whole church service is monitored by a program, is the day I'm walking out of that church and not going back. I'm sorry. I didn't say I wouldn't go back to a church. I just wouldn't go back to that church. Because I don't think that religion is a place where AI should take over. I really don't.
They'll look up and say, our competitor is China, so I got to go. The question is, what happens to people? And I'm someone who, look, I'm not anti-progress, anti-innovation. I think all of that stuff is very positive, but you have to be clear-eyed about the impact on people, on organizations, on workers. And in my estimation, this fourth industrial revolution is the most dramatic thing that's happened to our society in history. AI might be the most radical breakthrough in human history, and so we have to think much bigger.
That allows more spare time. That allows people to. We become so rich from AI that maybe you can do UBI, and not everyone has to work 5 days. You gave me a thumbs up. Is that the answer for you?
To me, that is the answer. The question is, how do we get from point A to point B? Because right now, the beneficiaries of AI are going to be a small handful of firms, and then the average 22-year-old or truck driver or whatnot is going to be just looking around saying, where did my job go? And they're not going to be experiencing that kind of value. That, to me, is what government and politics are for. That's what got me into the Democratic race in 2020. Unfortunately, right now, our political class is very, very far away from these problems. And one of our goals should be to try and bring them together the way the Pope's describing.
All right. So what do you think of the, I don't know if you call it a rider, but the initiative that's trying to be pushed into the budget bill, the one big beautiful bill right now that has made it through the House version? We don't know what's going to happen with the Senate entirely because of the Byrd rules and others, but it's a move to say state attorney generals, other states have no way of setting any rules or guidelines or laws around AI, that it should be only allowed at a federal level. And by the way, there are backers, a lot of the big AI names that are backing and kind of lobbying for that.
Oh, certainly if you're an AI company, the last thing you want is a hodgepodge of state rules that you then have to navigate or run afoul of. And a lot of these fronts, including social media, by the way, what you see is you see a federal hands-off approach, and then the states at some point step up and say, you know what, I don't love this treatment of customer data. They're trying to avoid that in AI. If you're going to have that, then you would need a buttoned-up, sensible approach from the federal government.
Guidelines before you.
Yes, exactly. But the incentives for the corporates will be, let us do whatever we want. And then even for the individual legislators, it'll be like, oh, do I want to mess with the AI guys? Not really. So you're going to end up with a Wild West approach.
What do you hear? You say that you talk to CEOs who are talking about all the people they're getting rid of, jobs that they're replacing with AI. What do you say to them? What's your approach to say, hey, this may not be great in the long term?
I say come clean. I say just, and by the way, Andy Jassy making those public statements, Dario Amodei making those public statements, they're signaling to us, guys, we are going to be getting rid of a lot of workers. We're going to get leaner and meaner. So please, if you're in government, do something about it, because their responsibility is not society-wide. Their responsibility is just to make their organization successful. And those interests are going to diverge from the average workers pretty sharply. It used to be when you guys saw a company increase headcount, you'd say, okay, good, they're growing, they're healthy. Increasingly, headcount is going to be a bad sign. And you're going to look at them and say, wait a minute, what are you guys doing wrong?
It's always been the case on Wall Street, though. I think back 20 years and even longer than that, where you talk about on the floor how they're laying people off.
They do, yeah. There's a bump when there's a cutback in workers, but you can take that and dial it up to 11.
Oh, so you corporate types are rock.
So he says we might get in trouble. Okay, now this one, I've seen two different articles on it, and I don't know why I didn't click on the other one, because the other one was double this one. So I just want to look at like 5 instead of 40. Okay. Okay. So this is from AI Expert. These are the only 5 jobs that will remain in 2030. Now, there's going to be more than 5 jobs. I mean, obviously, surgeons and healthcare workers and a lot of that. There's going to be more than 5 jobs. And I don't know if even what we're doing right here, if we can make money off of YouTube, but what would we have to talk about? nobody would need to leave their homes, so there wouldn't be any reason to have cars. There wouldn't be any reason to, I don't know. Maybe I'm just all confused about it. So, okay, this is motivation to study. And let's up this full screen and turn it on, see what it has to say. It says these are the only 5 jobs that will remain in 2030.
We are at the dawn of this radical transformation of humans that, by its very nature, as a truly complex and emergent innovation, nobody on earth can predict.
A poll of 1,000 college students showed that almost 90% of them used the chatbot to help with homework.
More and more vulnerable people are turning to AI chatbots for support.
Entry-level jobs are vanishing at an alarming rate.
Half of entry-level white-collar jobs disappearing and 10 to 20% unemployment in the next 1 to 5 years.
Now, I was starting to tell a story about a friend of mine. They did something on ChatGPT that makes, I don't even know what they did, but it changed the picture. And somebody else did something on ChatGPT and showed her working in a shoe factory or something. I don't know what it was all about because I just posted on there. I don't have ChatGPT and put the crying eyes. I don't want ChatGPT because I fear in the back of my mind, now it might be really easy, but I fear in the back of my mind that I wouldn't understand it. I have a hard enough time with Grok. And Grok is simple. I just type my question in there and then I read off the answer. But, and also ChatGPT is one of those things that I haven't looked into, but back in the back of my brain also it says that's something you got to pay for, and I don't want to pay for something else. It's hard enough keeping up with Netflix and Hulu. Okay. And StreamYard. I have to keep my StreamYard up and going.
First of all, they underestimate the magnitude of the AI revolution. AI is nothing like print. It's nothing like the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century. It's far, far bigger. It's the first technology in history that can make decisions by itself and that can create new ideas by itself.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
The idea that this AI disruption doesn't lead us to some very human catastrophe, I think, is overly optimistic.
My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world.
If that really happened, like if we really did just discover that there were 1 billion extra people on the planet who all had PhDs and were happy to work almost for free, that would have a massive disruptive impact on society.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete
See, that was a commercial.
What jobs are going to be made redundant in a world?
That was an AI commercial in the middle of an AI seminar type thing.
Where I am sat here as a CEO with 1,000 AI agents. Right. I was thinking of all the names of the people in my company who are currently doing those jobs. I was thinking about my CFO when you talked about processing business data, my graphic designers, my video editors, etc. So what jobs are going to be impacted?
Yeah, all of those. Maybe this is useful for the audience. I think if your job is as routine as it comes, your job is gone in the next couple of years. So meaning in those jobs, for example, quality assurance jobs, data entry jobs, you're sitting in front of a computer and you're supposed to click and type things in a certain order. Operator and those technologies are coming on the market really quickly, and those are going to displace a lot of
accountants,
lawyers. Yes.
I've just pulled a ligament in my foot, and they did an MRI scan, and I had to wait a couple of days for someone to look at the MRI scan and tell me what it meant.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's gone.
Yeah, I think the healthcare ecosystem is hard to predict because of regulation. And again, there's so many limiting factors on how this technology can permeate the economy because of regulations and people's willingness to take it. But things, unregulated jobs that are purely text in, text out. If your job, you get a message and you produce some kind of artifact that's like probably text or images. that job is at risk.
People use this phrase, they say, AI won't take your job. A human using AI will take your job.
Yes, I think that's true. But for many jobs, that'll mean you need far fewer people. My niece answers letters of complaint to a health service. It used to take her 25 minutes. She'd read the complaint and she'd think how to reply and she'd write a letter. And now she just scans it into a chatbot and it writes the letter. She just checks the letter. Occasionally she tells it to revise it in some ways. The whole process takes her 5 minutes. That means she can answer 5 times as many letters. And that means they need 5 times fewer of her. So she can do the job that 5 of her used to do. Now, that will mean they need less people. In other jobs, like in healthcare, they're much more elastic. So if you could make doctors 5 times as efficient, we could all have 5 times as much healthcare for the same price. And that would be great. There's almost no limit to how
But the cost of healthcare is going up and up and up and up.
much healthcare people can absorb. They always want more healthcare if there's no cost to it. There are jobs where you can make a person with an AI assistant much more efficient, and you won't lead to less people because you'll just have much more of that being done. But most jobs, I think, are not like that.
So that's the question I often ask people. In a world with AGI, and I think almost immediately we'll get superintelligence as a side effect. So the question really is, in a world of superintelligence, which is defined as better than all humans in all domains, what can you contribute? And so you know better than anyone what it's like to be you. You know what ice cream tastes to you. Can you get paid for that knowledge? Is someone interested in that? Maybe not a big market. There are jobs where you want a human. Maybe you're rich and you want a human accountant for whatever historic reasons. Old people like traditional ways of doing things. Warren Buffett would not switch to AI. He would use his human accountant. But it's a tiny subset of the market. Today we have products which are man-made in US as opposed to mass-produced in China. And some people pay more to have those. But it's a small subset. It's almost a fetish.
I know in reselling, which is what I do on the side, it's getting more and more to where you have to look at, does it have a person's signature? Is it mass produced? Is it, modern, retro, contemporary, vintage, antique? Who makes it? Is it Murano, L.E. Smith, any number of different glass manufacturers? Or is it California pottery? Is it just pottery made in California that's not California pottery? Is it Forbes pre-merge, where it's real silver as opposed to silver plated? Is your item La Creuset, or is it a Parity or a Perini, or however you say that one? Stay away from the Perini, even though it looks and functions exactly like La Creuset. People are going to buy the La Creuset. Is it old Pyrex with a capital P, or very old Pyrex with no writing on it? Or is it new Pyrex with the little p? Is it old Tupperware with that you can't see through and it has a pop-on lid? Or is it the new Tupperware that you can almost see through and there's so many things. And like, who manufactures? Is it Tanala or Talavera? Or is it Wade Whimsy? And there's so much you have to learn about this stuff. And I mean, and sometimes you can look at the object and think that it's Blanco glass, and it's actually Avon. And a lot of that's in milk glass and figurines and stuff. But I mean, yeah, you have to really watch. And an AI computer program is not going to be able to do that.
There is no practical reason for it. And I think anything you can do on a computer could be automated using that technology.
People in this country want to do certain types of jobs, not other types of jobs. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad, it's just the reality. So, you know, I joke like, you know, my kids are 15 and they don't want to work for 40 years in a manufacturing job. And I don't want them to, because I don't want them to have the bad back that I have right now. Like, no, I mean, this is real. Like, you work in one of these jobs for 40 years and you're messed up by the time you hit your age 60. So they don't want to do that. They don't want to work in a repetitive physical labor job for their life. And I hate to say, like, almost no young kids in this country do.
They won't have to in 10 years with robots taking over all of that.
They won't have to. And like, the one knock that this whole robot revolution people have with it is it will displace human labor.
So if you have this concept of a drop-in employee, you have free labor, physical and cognitive, trillions of dollars of it. It makes no sense to hire humans for most jobs. If I can just get, you know, a $20 subscription or a free model to do what an employee does, first, anything on a computer will be automated. And next, I think humanoid robots are maybe 5 years behind. So in 5 years, all the physical labor can also be automated.
So one of the things that I study as well is, besides AI and longevity, is the embodiment of AI, which is going to be in humanoid robots, autonomous cars, flying cars, and the like. You know, I've interviewed Elon, who I've known for 26 years, another company here in the US called Figure AI that Brett Adcock runs. And both of them have made the prediction that they expect by 2040 to have as many as 10 billion humanoid robots walking on the streets, right? And so I asked my friend, what's it gonna feel like when you're seeing a humanoid robot delivering your packages or walking down the street or coming over to ask you if there's something else you want done? He said it's gonna feel normal. You know, in the beginning, it feels weird. It's a spectacle. We take photographs. But after a little bit, we fully adapt. And that's the brilliance of human mind and society. And it becomes normal. It's part of our lives.
This is how I'd learn AI in 2026 if I wanted a fresh start at 50. Watch this.
And I think it goes so far beyond human intelligence. It's my assumption that most of the work that we do is based on intelligence. So even like me doing this podcast now, this is me asking questions based on information that I've gathered, based on what I think I'm interested in, but also based on what I think the audience will be interested in. And if an AI has an IQ that is 100 times mine and a source of information that is 1,000,000 times bigger than mine, there's no need for me to do this podcast. I can get an AI to do it. And in fact, an AI can talk to an AI and deliver that information to a human. But then if we look at most industries, like being a lawyer, accountancy, I mean, a lot of...
But somebody has to ask the question, the initial question. Somebody has to ask the question to get this AI chatbot to talk to this AI chatbot to be able to produce this out, and it's got to know where to send it. It can't all be done by computers. Otherwise, we would all be vegetables. I mean, cereal. We would all be vegetables because somebody has to ask the AI the question originally. It can't just come from two AI chatbots sitting here having a conversation between each other and then all of a sudden deciding, oh, we're going to tell the world. No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll ever come to that.
The medical profession is based on information. Driving, I think that's the biggest employer in the world, is the profession of driving, whether it's delivery or Uber or whatever it is. Where do humans belong in this complex?
Anything which is just information in, information out is ripe for automation. These are the easiest jobs to automate.
Like being a coder.
Like being a coder, Or again, like being an accountant, at least certain types of accountants, lawyers, doctors, they are the easiest to automate. If a doctor, the only thing they do is just take information in, all kind of results of blood tests and whatever, and they information out, they diagnose disease and they write a prescription, this will be easy to automate in the coming years and decades. But a lot of jobs, they require also social skills and motor skills. If your job requires a combination of skills from several different fields, it's not impossible, but it's much more difficult to automate it. So if you think about a nurse that needs to replace a bandage to a crying child, this is much, much harder to automate than just a doctor that writes a prescription. Because this is not just data. The nurse needs good social skills to interact with the child and motor skills to just replace the bandage.
So what are those skills?
I think it's all human skills. I think there needs, so I think where the world is going to go, and at least this is where I'm taking a bet, is that as the end product becomes easier to produce, it's the humanity that's going to suffer. And unless we take personal accountability, both as individuals and organizations, to teach and learn human skills, they will disappear for all the reasons we're talking about. So how do I listen? How do I hold space? How do I resolve conflict peacefully? How do I give and how do I receive feedback? Those are two different skills. And sure, you can have an AI friend, and that AI friend has been trained like the best.
Who's going to teach our kids how to read? They're already given a computer in kindergarten or first grade. And they start doing all their school lessons on a computer. Okay? They get the computer at the first day of school. Then they turn it in at the last day of school. Then the next year they get the same computer on the first day of school and turn it in on the last day of school. Basically, what the teachers are doing right now is telling them what program to go to learn their subject. My son is about to graduate high school and doesn't know how to write cursive. He's learning himself how to sign his name in cursive for when he signs his paychecks or writes a check. But most of the time it's his debit card. But he gets a paycheck every month because he's a survivor from my dad being in the military. My dad had adopted him. So he gets a survivor benefit check, and he has to sign the back of that check every month. And I have to actually take him to the bank and have him sign it in front of the bank, and he's learning to write his name in cursive, and he's getting better at it. But back when he was in sixth or seventh grade, I can't remember. My third grade grandson was trying to teach him how to write cursive, but then they got off and playing video games and quit learning cursive. But, and my grandson is homeschooled. So, who's going to teach these kids? There won't be any reason for a classroom. It's all going to be done on homeschool. So we won't learn social interaction. We won't know how to talk to people when we go to the grocery store. It's just, I see some good, but I see some bad coming from AI taking over.
Best psychologist to affirm you, the best listening skills that exist. Tell me about your day. That sounds difficult. Boy, it's hard being you. Oh my God, it's so great being you. Have you, it's an affirmation machine built by a for-profit company that wants you to stay on. Can't neglect that. But for the fact that nobody's learning how to be a friend. It'll feel good. You'll feel like
Didn't I just say that?
you have a friend, but you're not learning to be a friend.
They promised us social connection when social media came about. When we got Wi-Fi connections, the promise was that we would become more connected, but it's so clear that because we spend so long alone, isolated, having our needs met by Uber Eats drivers and social media and TikTok and the internet, that we're investing less in the very difficult thing of like going and making a friend and like going and finding a girlfriend. Young people are having sex less than ever before. Everything that is.
How many times do you see, if you do social media like Facebook and what have you, I'm going to use Facebook because that's the one I use the most. How many times do you see, I need a girls' day out? I need to just go have coffee. I need to go shopping with everybody. I even saw one that said, we need an ice cream truck that goes around serving party drinks door to door, and you can run out to the road and pay for your drink and go in your house. It was a joke, of course, but the day's coming. The day is coming. And how is an AI going to know? I mean, obviously you have to input your ID, but how is a robot or a computer going to know if 5-year-old Timmy didn't walk out there? Okay, let's let a little older kid, 12-year-old Timmy, didn't get a hold of his mom's or dad's ID and walk out there and stick it in the machine and purchase alcoholic beverage. How are they going to stop that? If everything goes AI and it's a computer-driven truck and everything. I mean, I've got questions, and if somebody as dumb as me can have questions, somebody as smart as these 4 guys sitting at this table ought to at least have the same questions.
Associated with the difficult job of making in real life connections seems to be falling away.
Work today is broken. Every day, people juggle so many different tools just to get work done. A simple task turns into a time-consuming mess.
I think the skill of being a storyteller and a communicator is critically important for any entrepreneur. Right? At the end of the day, if you think about what an entrepreneur is doing, part of what they're doing is creating a vision of the future that they think is possible, getting other people to believe in their future, and thereby.
All right. I'm going to back this up just a tiny bit and only to show you something. Okay. When it happens, I'll show you.
That they think is possible. Getting other people
right. Look, this AI program that's doing the talking doesn't even know capitalization. Seriously? This is what we're going to have to look for in the future. And it bothers me when people don't use proper punctuation or capitalization. And people that I graduated high school with, one of them wrote a post on Facebook the other day, and my jaw hit the floor because I realized that person doesn't even know how to write a sentence. Of course, he was one of the jocks. He didn't really have to learn in school, but still.
To believe in their future and thereby join them as a co-founder or employee, or join them as an investor, or join them as a customer. And that's the process of communicating this product, this service, this future you want, and getting people excited about it, wanting to join you.
And being able to tell the difference between what is a fiction in our own mind and what is the reality, this is a crucial skill. And we are not getting better at finding this difference as time goes on. And also with new technologies, which I write about a lot, like artificial intelligence, the fantasy that AI will answer our questions, will find the truth for us, will tell us the difference between fiction and reality, this is just another fiction. I mean, AI can do many things better than humans, but for reasons that we can discuss, I don't think that it will necessarily be better than humans at finding the truth or uncovering reality.
And what made you a great entrepreneur is not that the company exists, is that you built it with your hands and you've got the scars to show for it. Yeah. It was when things went wrong and you were forced to fix them and think that now, when problems show up, you're quick, you're smarter. You're a much smarter businessman now than you were 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Yeah. Because you did it. And I think what we're forgetting is that there's something to be said for, and by the way, I'm a fan of AI. I want AI to make things, but I would hate to lose out on becoming a better version of me. So I think there's something to be said for writing your own symphony, painting your own painting, building your own business, writing your own book, not for them, not for the output, for your personal growth.
Okay. I got it. That wasn't the one that I had planned on watching, but somehow I got my programs mixed up in my share screen. Okay, no, I want this one first. Okay. Where are you? Okay. Now we're going to watch a 4-minute news report. This is from ABC News. Let's give them their thumbs up. And she's talking more about AI.
Jobs report shows some job gains in industries like healthcare, hospitality, and leisure, but concerns are growing about AI replacing some human workers. Major companies like Microsoft, Walmart, and Business Insider are laying off employees amid the rise of artificial intelligence in the workplace. And Business Reporter,
so many places have the automatic scanner thingies where you can scan your own groceries. Okay, we don't get a discount for doing that. And I don't work for Walmart, so I try to avoid those self-checkouts as much as I can because I'd rather an employee get paid for doing their job than me doing their job and them not having a job because I did their job, because I made it easier for Walmart. I don't like that.
at Axios, Nathan Bomey's here for more on that. Nathan, thanks so much for coming on. Our team has tracked down some spikes in AI-related questions being asked on search engines. And so we wanted to bring you on to get your take and to be able to give responses to some of that. One of the big questions is what jobs you think will be first to go and what layoffs you've seen so far because of AI.
Well, just this week, for example, Procter & Gamble is saying that it'll cut up to 7,000 jobs. Although they did not use the word AI, they used the word digitization and automation. So I think that sounds like AI, because the positions that are at most risk are going to be positions that involve a lot of repeatable actions, data entry, data analysis, anything that requires you to sort through all sorts of documents at scale. That's something that AI can do really easily.
Is there a such thing as an AI-proof job?
I think that the most AI-proof jobs are going to be jobs that involve a lot of human interaction, because at the end of the day, AI can't really replace those interpersonal aspects of humanity. So just chatting with other people and trying to coordinate, trying to innovate together, those are the actions that I think AI won't really be able to replace. But if it simply involves just rote memorization or the sort of communication that involves really basic words and phrases, those are the kinds of things that AI can do very easily.
And I want to run you through some specific careers, the ones we got asked about the most, just to get your take on how you think they will be impacted by AI or if they already have been. So kind of a speed round here. Accountants?
Definitely at risk. Accountants are in big trouble because data entry and analysis is very easily done by AI.
Data scientists?
same thing. I think in some ways that'll be a little bit more insulated, if only because if you can do analysis that the AI can't do, that'll help preserve your job. But again, the AI very good at sorting through numbers and figures.
Radiologists?
What's that?
Radiologists?
Well, I think that medical positions depends on the medical position. I think radiologists are in trouble. But on the other hand, we already have a shortage of medical positions, medical doctors, for example. So I'd be really surprised if we see an uptick in unemployment in the healthcare sector. But I do think the AI is coming for some medical jobs.
This is a big one. What about digital marketers?
Yeah, I think that it probably depends on what kind of digital marketing you're doing. But if you are doing the kind of marketing that simply involves very basic creation of advertisements, that's something that the AI can do, because AI is really good at creating visuals now. And so I think if that's all you do, you're going to have to find a way to distinguish yourself.
And what about graphics?
Wait a minute. Okay, when I post something on eBay, this salt shaker, okay? AI cannot photograph all aspects of this salt shaker, and the fact that it's got a bottom, and the fact whether it's got a signature. AI can't do that without having it in front of them. Somebody has to be there to photograph this and put it in. My husband uses this program called Jasper, and he tells it a little bit about something, and then Jasper writes this big long write-up about it. Then I go back and look at Jasper, or I even go through with, I don't know what that program's called, Grammarly, and I, through Grammarly, correct a lot of the mistakes that this Jasper program, this AI program, uses. And so if people sell on eBay, which is becoming more and more and more of a thing, there's still going to have to be somebody there to take the picture, because you can't use a photograph of a brand new product, a brand new in the box item, to list a 20-year-old item. You just can't do it. You just can't do it.
Graphic designers.
Another problem there, because
See, my husband's a graphic designer. He did a specialization. He's a double master in college, and one of his masters was in graphics design. He doesn't use it. He never has used it. I mean, he builds websites and stuff like that, but even that's gone down. It never became a big booming thing where he could quit driving a truck. He was doing it while he was driving the truck, because he gets a 34-hour restart after every 70 hours of driving. He has to sit for 2 days. So he was doing websites and everything, but now you can get a website for free. All you got to do is type in your own information, and some program will build your website for you.
Creating visuals, creating charts is something that AI can do really well. For example, you can just feed into it a database and say, please, create a chart based on this, and it can do that pretty well.
Get ahead of this. So many people left other jobs and careers that seem to be floundering to learn things like coding. That was the job of the future, right? Now they're hearing they're going to be replaced by AI. So what skills should people be learning now to try to get ahead of this?
I think it's a really good point. There was a time when it felt like being a software coder was an instant job, and now we're hearing that maybe you're at risk from AI, and I think you are. I think the lesson here is that you don't really want to go into college or your master's degree and to learn a very specific skill, because that could become outdated quickly. What you want to do is to learn how to learn, which means essentially you'll be adaptable no matter where the economy goes, because you'll be able to change yourself and adapt to whatever happens in the future, and you'll be able to learn this.
So at 60 years old, I need to enroll in college to learn how to learn. Okay, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Not.
Skills that'll keep you safe from losing your job to AI.
Axio business reporter Nathan Bomey. Nathan, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Okay. Now, the next one we're going to bring up, and it'll be the last one. It's a Bing video that is, well, I don't know how long it is. It's only a month old, and it's from Global News on YouTube. How AI advancements are disrupting the job market and the way we interact. So I don't see a way to make it bigger. So let's just hit play and see what happens. If it's boring, we'll click it off.
Welcome to the AI Shift, an in-depth look at how artificial intelligence and machine learning are disrupting the job market, the way that we interact, and propelling cutting-edge advancements. I'm Ann Gaviola, Global News' senior business correspondent. 2025 was a pivotal year for AI, marked by a global shift from experimentation to optimization. Advancements in intelligent models demonstrated both new possibilities and a new need for governance. 2023 was the year ChatGPT went mainstream, and 2025 may go down as the year when AI job displacement became a growing concern. In fact, a recent MIT study suggests AI can already replace about 12% of jobs in the U.S. I took a look at what early signs tell us about the potential for labor market disruption by robots and software.
Thank you for contacting the media.
AI startup The Media Ant is launching a chatbot that can handle call center clients as well as an agent.
Sounds like completely like human. When we run it through people, they are not able to differentiate whether it's a machine or a person.
The company founder says it does the work of 6 employees, so now they have less staff.
At the start of this year, we were about 160. Right now, we are under 100.
This year in India and all around the world, artificial intelligence.
I had a crazy idea. We were surprised that no one had done it before.
Success doesn't follow a formula. Machines and software are helping companies save money at the cost of workers' jobs.
Customer service representatives, software developers, and a lot of those are entry-level jobs.
Positions most at risk, low-skill jobs, often a starting rung on a career ladder. Seniority is safer for now.
The people that are a little further ahead in their career, the impact has not really been shown yet in the data that those jobs have been eliminated or directly impacted.
But AI job insecurity comes in all forms. It can be fear of being replaced by a robot or by someone who's more adept at leveraging AI. 51% of Canadian employees use generative AI tools at work, according to a recent survey by KPMG. But 83% want or need to upskill, and nearly half worry about their job being replaced by someone who can use AI more effectively.
Waves of technological change have disrupted the labour market in the past without resulting in widespread unemployment. We think there are warning signs in the data that things could be different this time.
A key difference this time around, many people who suddenly find themselves jobless may find a new position out of reach.
Significant mismatches between the skills and qualifications of people in these declining, what we call high-risk occupations, and the job demands of growing, predominantly professional occupations.
But it's not all doom and gloom. These changes are also set to usher in tremendous advances in fields like healthcare.
If that is more accessible and cheaper, people are going to use it, and there will be more jobs created as a result.
Opportunities and new jobs for those who have the right skills and training. Artificial intelligence is already ushering in changes to the way that we look for work and tackle our jobs. But according to analysts, the biggest changes are still to come. Here's more on how to protect yourself from this looming disruption with skills that may be AI-proof. First, they started stealing human jobs in the service industry. Next, the quiet infiltration of AI, taking on entry-level office jobs.
There's a legitimate worry there. We are really changing the technology in a way that we haven't before.
The AI disruption of the labor market will not follow in the footsteps of the Industrial Revolution, where humans learn to work with machines on the assembly line, according to futurist and economist Linda Nazareth.
This is somewhat different. This actually can replace job functions.
This disruption will usher in a new way to think of survival of the fittest.
Jobs, as we traditionally knew them, are rapidly morphing and changing.
People's mindset around jobs is in need of an update, according to analysts. In the future, positions will center around a skill set and outcomes. That's a shift from today's focus on degrees and job descriptions.
My advice would be to focus on the amount of value that we can generate if we adopt and embrace AI rather than being afraid of it. As a new grad, I would focus more on those skills that I can augment my day-to-day job to make me a superpower.
There are opportunities for those who can best harness emerging technology and upskill as required. But the most AI-proof skills may be so-called soft skills, the things no machine can duplicate.
Resilience, creativity, empathy, motivation and self-awareness, curiosity, service orientation, and teaching and mentoring. Now, organizations and for individuals, developing these skills gives you a little bit of armor against all the changes ahead.
Chances are the AI era means fewer positions available for humans to fill. Some estimates suggest a reduction of 20 to 30% of roles, which will bring about thorny questions for society and for policymakers to manage.
The question here, though, is not will there be fewer jobs? It'll be if there's an increase in productivity and profits, who will own that? Will it flow to workers at all? Will there be some benefits there? Will it be a small number of people? Will it show up in tax revenues?
It isn't just the job force feeling the impact of AI. It's found its way into classrooms right across the country. And while educators saw its potential, the danger it brought to learning remained top of mind.
I think teachers want to see technology used responsibly, and there are uses for it in the classroom, but we have to really dig into what that looks like going forward.
For example, in New Brunswick, a consultation paper for the province's education plan made it clear that implementation of artificial intelligence is on the way. The idea is to personalize learning and improve efficiency. Canadian businesses have cited the ever-changing tariff regime and trade turbulence as the single biggest challenge this year. A Toronto-based artificial intelligence startup recognized that early on and quickly developed a platform to help. Here's a look at a homegrown solution to a major challenge.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words, create your brand.
Toy Traders in Langley, BC has been in the business for decades. The biggest challenge this year, tariffs and trade concerns driving up prices and limiting supply.
Behind me, in certain sections of the store, we have signs up where it says limit 1 per family or 1 per customer.
All of these challenges mean no Black Friday or Boxing Day sales this season.
A lot of the toys that involve metal and wood have gone up a lot in price because those key components, obviously, and the costs. So we are just glad to have the inventory, but we can't obviously put it on sale.
U.S. President Donald Trump's ever-changing rules for importers and exporters have thrown a series of curveballs at business owners across Canada. Smaller businesses in particular have less resources, less ability to revamp supply chains, and in most cases, less of a cash cushion. Toronto-based startup TariffSense was created to help.
I think people have got used to it, but still the rate of change is so rapid that almost even like trade professionals who have decades of experience in this space are falling behind the regulations.
TariffSense's platform and chatbot pulls from the latest tariff rules and guides users through the new, more complicated documentation process, helping to get everything in order so companies can submit paperwork to U.S. Customs.
Have more visibility into the customs process, identify any errors or mismatches before they actually hit customs, automate their task, and basically take control of the process.
While 2025 saw massive growth in AI and what it's capable of, it also proved to be a year of reckoning for rules to rein in the technology. After the break, we'll take a look at what governments are doing to try to corral the AI Wild West.
Okay, this doesn't look like it's anything to do with what's happening in the United States. It's all, Canada. And, like they were just saying, they can't even ship from Canada to America because of tariffs. So, that was more of a tariff against AI type of thing. So anyway, I'm not going to go there. That's taking it down a turn I didn't really want to go down. So I think I just noticed that right here on my screen, I don't know what you call it, my new tab, the opening screen on my other monitor. See, I'll show you. See, that screen right up there in the corner, it says Copilot Designer Preview. That, my husband says, is a form of an AI thing. Put my camera back in the right spot now. I put my camera between my monitors, and I got a monitor on each side of my camera. So I don't have it in the same spot I did have, because you can see more of the bear now than you did before. Now you can see the computer. You can see the closet. You can see the computer. See, I can't get it in the right spot. Oh well, it's going to have to work. But in the words of Amanda Panda, as long as I can see my turtle, that's what counts. She thinks that's her turtle. When she came up here for Christmas, she brought her husband in here. She said, "Come look at my turtle. Come look at my turtle. I get to enjoy it every time Mom goes live." My daughter has a great sense of humor, but that's a Tiffany turtle, so it's like, yeah, it's Tiffany glass. It's Tiffany and pewter. A Tiffany glass pewter made at the Tiffany company. So it's a Tiffany turtle, and it's a lamp. So anyway, that's what AI is going to do to us. So H. Davis is just about to graduate college. Is he going to be able to find, well, I know he's already got a job now, but how far is he going to get to go before AI takes it away from him? I'm concerned about that. He's a young person, and just graduating college, and just to find out that he just went through all that work for nothing, that breaks my heart. So anyway, I thank you for being here. Please hit that thumbs up. And if you're watching in on a replay or you came in late, please go back and watch the beginning if this topic interests you. I don't know what we'll be talking about tomorrow. And please feel free to share this information. And the reason I don't have a problem with, I do research. I go through and I look at the videos and I read the information to find out what correlates with what I want to talk about. But I like to use other people's videos because they have a better way of explaining things. And their video is getting out to, well, right now, 3 more people. Earlier, we had 4 in here. So that's 4 people that it wouldn't have got out to, including myself, was 5. So that's 4 people that their video got out to. Their important message got out to, thanks to me being able to have you here listening to me blabber. So, and I think what they say, they can describe it better than I can describe it, because I get all tongue-tied and confused and I might say something wrong and I don't want to mislead anybody in any way. So, with that being said, thank you for being here. Do something nice for someone, even if it's just be the reason they smile. Figure it out. We'll have a new talking point tomorrow.